When I was born dead. I was not breathing and was completely blue. The nurse and my mom were freaking out while another nurse ran out of the room. Quickly, the doctor ran back in and began to work to save my life. What happened was, my mom went into labor while everyone was not around, earlier than they thought. The nurses came in to check on my mom, panicked, thought it'd be a smart idea to shove me back inside of my mom. Mom was frazzled and confused, but before she could even ask if that was standard procedure, the nurse was out the door. Body fluids were getting inside of my lungs, choking me. The doctor managed to get me breathing again, had me hooked up to wires. I seemed okay when I got brought home, but by age 2, I was showing signs that something was definitely not okay. I started to rock back and forth and had constant seizures. I never cried if my diaper needed changing or if I was hurt or hungry. If I needed something, Mom and Dad had to check on their own because I gave no signs. I was soon taken to the hospital to figure out the strange behavior. It turns out I had autism. The doctor didn't think I'd live very long and would never mentally age past 2. He suggested that my parents should lock me away because I'd be a vegetable my whole life. But my mom refused to send me away, kept me, and did her best to care for me. I required a lot of special attention. Cartoons always got my attention, so my mom would often leave the TV on because cartoons kept me calm. I loved The Lion King and the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I went to a school for disabled kids at 5. At 6, I went to public school and was in special ed. I had trouble making friends. I tried to befriend everyone. I'd give them an uncolored page from my Powerpuff Girls coloring book, only to find these pages crumpled up, uncolored, on the ground. Everyone at school found me freaky. I was never good at sports, still am not. I didn't know how to play a single game in PE. "No, we don't want her." "Great, now we're gonna lose," were typical comments I'd often hear as I was picked, usually last, into a team. The whole team would get pissed off because I made them lose. I didn't understand what I did wrong. Their comments made me feel even more insecure than I already was. School was a very lonely time for me. I always carried a doll of one of the Ninja Turtles, Raphael. I considered Raph my best friend. I took him everywhere. He was my escape from the real world that I didn't seem to fit into. One day, I was playing with Raph in class during playtime. I was so caught up in the fantasy world that I didn't hear the teacher say, "Put the toys away." So when I didn't put Raph away, she took him from me, which made me really angry. I had a hard time dealing with emotions. None of my classmates were sympathetic. They just teased me. I continued to feel unwanted and was constantly teased right through school and into my teens. At school, everyone called me emo. I'd get laughed at, be given dirty looks if I even held a piece of food. Because I felt embarrassed, I started to avoid most meals and began losing too much weight. I felt hated, like everyone would be happier if I was gone. So I decided to test that out. In music class, we were watching a movie. We were all sitting in chairs on mini bleachers. I was in the back, by the edge. I slowly scooted my chair close to the edge to a point where I fell over. Landing on my back, the chair landed on me. The room went silent. Then, everyone laughed. Not a single kid asked if I was okay. One even said it was the best thing that ever happened. I pretended to laugh, but on the inside, I was destroyed. It didn't help that my online life was no better. Me being a stupid kid, I did pretty questionable things on my old DeviantArt page. Someone got so fed up with me that they made an entire journal post ranting about me. After reading this, I started to get angry and bitter. I started to cut my legs and chest with a shaving razor as a way of coping. I was getting hundreds of people online going onto my page and mocking me. There were a few people who were trying to defend me, but they got backlash too. One person even went into full detail describing how they would kill me. I was traumatized. It still honestly messes me up to this day. Soon, my family found out I was cutting because one weekend I refused to change into shorts and a swimsuit. They pulled my pants down, saw all the cuts. I literally got lectured all night. I didn't need to be lectured. I knew what I was doing wasn't okay. I desperately needed the constant teasing and nasty comments to stop. I got put on antidepressants after that and had therapy for a while. I still do suffer depression, but I don't cut anymore. I just slip off into my own world and imagine hanging out with fictional characters who like me. I've always been mocked for being a fangirl of fictional characters, but it's literally part of who I am. Even as a kid, I was like that. I guess it's my coping mechanism. My whole teen years, I was into Invader Zim. Now as an adult, it's Underfell Sans. I know he's not real, but I feel a strong connection to him. He was lazy, loved to sleep, is misunderstood, likes to crack jokes, is looked down upon by most. I relate to that. He's my comfort character. He makes me happy. I don't get mocked for it too much now. Most people think it's adorable and are understanding. As an adult, my autism has improved a lot. I am a high-functioning autistic. I like to draw, even though I don't think it's that good. I have a small YouTube channel that does commentary on certain things. I have a part-time job, my customers love me. Most of my crew do too. But life is that extra bit harder for me, and I do still suffer problems. Adults with autism tend to get made fun of. I hope I can teach others that it's not as funny as they think. It's actually a huge struggle. It took me so long to control mine better. I still have problems with it. I worked really hard to get where I am now, even though it may seem like nothing. I know now that even though I get shaky about a lot of things, that I'm not alone. And I have brought inspiration to people. People tell me that my content makes them feel better. Knowing my stories have given others hope, and the satisfaction of knowing they aren't alone in their problems fills me with joy. I'm glad my stuff lightens others' day.